Hello there, good morning. Welcome to another edition of Knocks to Nuggets. My name is Oluwayomi and such a joy to come your way this beautiful Monday morning. How was your weekend? How have you been? Wow, the year is running so fast, and I'm excited. We are in the month of March, and guess what? It's the International Women's Month. So we have International Women's Day, we have Mother's Day, all in the month of March. Is that not amazing? So this morning, I have a darling sister, a friend, an executive, a global player in the house, and she'll be talking with me on International Women's Day. What exactly is International Women's Day about? The theme for this year, what exactly are we talking about? Are we supposed to be challenged, or should we just ignore and move on? What do we do with International Women's Day celebration? So with me in the house today is no other but a regular in the house, a dear sister and friend, an ordained pastor. She is a teacher of the word of God. She's an apostle in the marketplace. She sits on the board of many organizations. She's a fearless female enthusiast and is passionate about the plight of widows and the girl child. Her overarching aim is to make heaven at the end of her days and take as many with her as possible. And here her king says to her, "Well done, thou good and faithful servant." And that will be her testimony, my testimony, and our testimony. So receive with me today on the Knocks to Nuggets platform, Binta Max-Gbinijie.
Good morning, ROO, and thank you for the privilege to be here again. I never take it for granted, truly an honor. Thank you so much for having me today, and good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for agreeing to be here today. It's the International Women's Day 2022 edition, and the theme is Break the Bias. So I'm just going to go right on because I know that there's so much to talk about today. But my first question is this: what exactly is this IWD, International Women's Day, all about?
That's a good question, and it's good to start from the basics. The root for the International Women's Day, IWD, was planted in 1908, as far back as 1908.
Wow.
Yes, when approximately 15,000 women at the time marched through the streets of New York in the United States, and they were articulating their outrage at the working conditions, particularly for women. They were venting against the inequalities that abounded at that time. They wanted shorter worker hours, they wanted better pay, and they also demanded at the time the right to vote. Remember, this was 1908. The year after, in Copenhagen, in Denmark, a lady called Clara Zetkin then moved the motion. There was a conference for women, and in attendance were about 100 women from 17 different countries. She then proposed the motion that we should have an International Women's Day. This also then gathered speed when in 1917, women in Russia also took to the streets at the time to say, "Give us bread. Things must change. This inequality is way too much. It is so skewed. The women are so disenfranchised and so, just suffering much more than they should. There must be something we must do about this." And then the movement snowballed and continued. The UK also joined in. And this went on until 1975, when the United Nations then moved that notion, accepted it, and it became accepted globally and worldwide. I mean, once the United Nations is behind something, then you know that the motion has been accepted, and that's how it started. This year, 2022, is actually the 111th edition of the International Women's Day. So it's been on for over 100 years. And the sad thing is, ROO, that the same things that women complained about over 100 years ago, unfortunately, are still the same things that we're talking about today. Hence the theme for this year, Break the Bias. The bias has continued, and it's now time to say enough already. Otoge, as we will say in Nigeria, let's break the bias. So that, in essence, is how the whole thing started and has become accepted globally. The march for the Russian women started on the 8th of March, and that's why the 8th of March is the day that's accepted. But all through the month, from the 1st to the 31st of March, different people, different, you can use any of the dates, but the whole month of March, and like you rightly alluded, even Mother's Day, if you then follow the British calendar, also falls in March. So March is all about women, and that's why I'm wearing these colors. The colors for the International Women, and you're in the spirit, Auntie Yo-Yo, because the colors are white, signifying purity, purple, okay, lilac, what you're wearing, and also green for fruitfulness. That's the history of the International.
Wow, that's so rich, and thank you for bringing that on. And you know, as we're talking, I was saying to myself, wow, 1902 to 1911 to
1908.
1908 rather to 2022, and it's still the same story.
The same story, unfortunately.
Wow. And you know, it plays out, and really in our culture, it's even worse. Particularly in some parts of our country, it's so bad that women are just to be seen, and they're just sit down, pretty face, smiling, and that's all there is to it. How do we actually break this bias? Is it not? Maybe the first question is it possible? Because we've been at it for 111 years, 111, and we are still fighting the battle now. So maybe my first question is really, is it possible? Are we fighting a lost battle, or can we actually break this bias?
We can break the bias, Aroho, and it just takes everyone coming on board. So that's why there's all of this attention about the IWD and a certain day and all of that, is to continue to drive home that message that the emancipation of women is key. I like what Malala Yousafzai said, you know, the Nobel laureate, the young lady from Afghanistan. She said, when more than half of your population, okay, is being left behind, as it were, essentially, it's like a bird flying on one wing. Obviously, there will be no speed. There will be so much left undone. But if you carry that other half of the population along, you empowered them, you gave them a seat at the table, the benefits will far outweigh what you have now. It's been proven, there's empirical evidence to confirm that GDP will double and quadruple in a couple of years. Once women are brought, that's half of your population, half of your workforce. You need to get them engaged. There's a wider talent pool that you can draw from. McKinsey's study has shown diversity exists and diversity wins. It's a report that someone should read when you have the time. Has shown that when you have more women in the workforce at the table making the decisions, the companies do better. So there's greater output, there's better performance, and you can imagine the domino effect. Many companies doing better, the economy doing better, humanity will do better. And that's why it's important that we must break the bias. So short answer to your question, is it doable? Absolutely. Everybody must, however, come on board. The men also must understand what's in it for them. You know, people these days want to know, why should I do it? What's in it for me? So it ought to be a win-win. I'm not a rabid feminist. I like how you describe me, and that's how I describe myself. I'm a female enthusiast. I'm just passionate because women have so much inside of them that they can bring to the fore and benefit the environment and society at large. But when they are not allowed that chance or given that opportunity to showcase what they've got, we would all be worse for it. So if the he for she's who understand that my wife, my mother, my daughters can lead us in governance, can bring their gifts and talents to the table, and the world will be better, there's nothing for them to be afraid of, to say, you know what, keep women where they belong. Women are to be seen and not heard. No, this is 2022. Ladies and gentlemen, let's wake up and smell the coffee. There's so much that we can bring forward, and when we do, humanity, like I said, generally benefits. So can we break the bias? Absolutely. It's not if we can, but that we must break the bias. Because if we don't, we do ourselves a disservice. We do the world a disservice. There are gifts and talents that we can bring forth. Who knows whether the cure for cancer is in one young lady's head? Who knows whether the cure for this COVID-19 and all its variants and its cousins, the Omicrons and all the others, is in the head of one little child, one girl somewhere in the north of Nigeria. But that can only be found, or that can, that experience will only be will be brought to the fore when they are given that opportunity. So it's not, the question is not can we break the bias, the question must be we must break the bias. It's not a question, it's actually a statement, because that's when we would be a better world. So the he for she's, men, we're not coming after your seats, even those in the National Assembly who on the 1st of March, and to your me, I'm still scandalized about that.
First day of March, our month.
Can you imagine? We're not coming after them. We're not saying, get up and give us your seats. We're saying we're here to support. We're here to bring our best selves forward. We're here to help. It's also been proven that when women are in governance, the world benefits. Look at the COVID pandemic, for instance. The countries that were able to fight that pandemic at that time were the countries that were led by women. And I say this with every sense of responsibility. New Zealand, Hong Kong, Germany, Thailand. These were countries that were led by women. That tells us something, that even in governance, if you let the women step forward, there's a lot they can bring to the table. And so it's important for men, the he for she's. And that's why these are people who understand that, yes, women are valuable. Women bring greater perspectives, if you like, to the table. Women can add value in every area. When they understand that and walk alongside the women, we're happy to follow them, behind them or beside them, whatever they want. But let's just make our lives better. Let's ensure there's good governance. Let's create a better world for our children, and let's move forward into the future. So yes, we break bias. We must.
Yes, we must break the bias. So let me be the advocate for the male chauvinists that are saying no. So I just want to be the advocate for a minute. Could it be that they feel if we allow these women, then I get home, I ask my wife for food, she says, my friend, I'm busy. Is that their threat? Is it that, oh, I now get into the village square meeting and I'm sitting on my throne and the ladies are talking, I'm talking, and then we get home, we can't control our wives, we can't control our daughters. Is that the problem? And is that even a possibility?
Very good question. And is that a possibility? I'll say yes, because we're being practical and honest, but only for the unwise woman, okay? Someone who is wise, who understands what's at stake, will not speak up or try and shush down the men. We will listen, and that's what most wise women do. I sit around the table at meetings, at board meetings, and I see wise women who know their place, and their place is at the table, but who are also prudent and wise enough to know when to speak, when to refrain from speaking, when to take action, okay? Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala is someone I admire a lot, NOI. And today she sits atop the World Trade Organization. And I've heard her speak at meetings about how her home is still a priority. So the fact that you have climbed up to that ladder, you're DG of a global organization or you're CEO of your own company or whatever it is, does not mean that you should not respect the men or give them their place. So to the males who are a bit concerned, I would like to use that word concerned, that the women will now not know their place, that's so not true. So that's why I said earlier on that I'm not a rabid feminist. A rabid feminist says it's all about women, it's us, we want to take the place, we want to send you out. Oh no, we realize that we need the men to succeed. We need our husbands, we need our fathers, we need our brothers. So women who are wise, who get that opportunity, must know that they need to balance things. Give unto Caesar that which is Caesar's, and render unto God that which is God. Render to the man that which is his respect, the chance to lead us. We're not saying we don't want to be led by them. We're only saying if the men are the head, we're the necks. And you and I know that the head needs the neck, right? So let the women do that which they will do. Let them hold things along. Let them make things better, shape things, bring you that fresh perspective and be there to support. So we're not coming and saying, get up, get up, get up, give us your seats, we're now the head. I know I can't be the head. I can't fix a light bulb to save my life today, but my husband can do it in a split second. So I still need him, and I respect that which he can do for me. So the balance thing is for women to understand, and for the men who are afraid that the women won't let them speak, or the women will now not be there. The first thing I do is to get him, when I get home, is to ask my husband, what do you want for dinner? And when he says what it is, I take off my heavy duty corporate suit and I get into the kitchen, I tie an apron and I prepare what he wants. I'm still very clear in my head. And so that's the balanced message we want to put out. So the rabid feminist will say, unseat them and don't listen to them. No, we're saying we need the men. Without the men, we can't make this progress. Again, to Malala's quote, you need the bird to have two wings. So if we're now just the women, we also won't fly. So we need the men and we need the women, and we need to know our place. Respect for our husbands, our fathers, our brothers, as is appropriate, of course, must be given. So the men should not fear. Tell them to fear not. The wives know what to do. Men, fear not. We're not coming to say we don't want to be under you anymore. No, we're saying that we want to support. We want to make things better, governance better, our homes better, earn the right wage so we can support the family better, make more money. If we're being mercenary, let's even think about it. You keep your wife at home and say, don't work. Meanwhile, the income that she can bring in a Nigeria of today, where you need more than one income to survive, that's counterproductive if you ask me. So men, fear not. The women are only here to help, to make things better. Give us the chance to do what we can. Let us lean in at the table. Let's take our place. Let's walk alongside you or behind you if you want. But lead us aright and we will follow.
Lead us aright and we will follow. Now I want to pick you on that. When you say lead us aright and we will follow, and I'm coming now to the space, the corporate space. And now I want to be a feminist. I want to be that rabid feminist and tell you, what do you mean by that? After all, it's only in the home that God says, women, submit to your husbands. So I'm in the boardroom. Excuse me, I earned my place on this table. Why should I then be careful about the guys are around? When we get to the boardroom, we are all in trousers. Excuse me, let's just do it right. Why should I care that the guys are there? I'm a woman. I earned my place, so say it as it is. Let's just go.
So yes, you've earned your place at the table. And when you've earned your place at the table, you've got nothing to prove. You don't have to go toe to toe with the men and let them know I'm here. You'll be you. You will be in your stately elegance. You will contribute meaningfully. It's not about showing them I'm here. After all, I'm in a trouser suit as well. It's about the content. And that's one thing. What do you bring to the table? What's the value that you're adding? If Reverend Yomi is not in the room, shouldn't they be able to, if Yomi was here now, she'll see this from a different angle. She'll give us a fresh perspective. You should be missed when you're not in the room. So women, don't go in with that chip on your shoulder. The glass ceiling has been broken. Kamala Harris definitely sealed it for us in January. If there are any questions about it, she sealed it. So if he was in this space, we've done it. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, Julia Gillard, all of these pioneers who have gone before us, and then Kamala Harris. So she is the Vice President of the United States of America. So we've got nothing to prove anymore. We just need to continue the climb, and we need to send the elevator back down and bring up as many women as possible. Because you see, this gender parity, the way we're going, it might not happen in my lifetime. It might not happen in yours, and maybe not even in our daughter's lifetime, because we're so far behind in terms of equality. And so we're saying, let everyone put their hands on deck and ensure that we close that gap as quickly as possible. So in that corporate boardroom, just show what you've got, woman. Don't seek to prove a point. You've earned your place. Nobody will argue with you about it. But deliver content. Show that competence. Demonstrate why you are at that table. The value add that you bring to that organization or that boardroom or that meeting. That's what should be on display. Not you proving that I've earned it and I'm here. You're already there. Nobody's arguing about it. They didn't put you outside. You're at the table. And to that point, when you're at the table, ladies, please be at the table. Okay? Demonstrate why you should be at the table. And, let them want to bring more of your type to the table because of the value that you bring.
So true. Let them want to bring more of your type to the table because of the value you bring. Before I go to the next question, I'll take this very quickly from Gilbert. So what, I know you've said it, but just in like 1 minute, what
Okay.
do women want?
What do women want? To be accepted and brought to the table, political table, governance table, corporate boards, science and tech, laboratories, medical table, whatever the tables are. Recognize what we carry and what value we can add. Give us the opportunity to express it. Let us also bring to the world those giftings and talents innate that God has given to us. Let us bring it forth. Let's be a blessing to our world, and let us help the men. The men don't have all the answers. You and I know that. The men themselves know it. That's why you need a wife. That's why you need a daughter. That's why you need the children. Auntie Yomi, how many men do you know who can multitask at the same time? Standing at the kitchen, I've seen you do it, holding baby Jessica in your hand, and you're on the phone sealing that $1 million deal. How many men can do it? And the food will be sweet. You won't burn the baby. You won't drop the phone. Women have those abilities. It's our superpower because we're women. We're like, superwoman. So if you give us that opportunity, we're able to bring all of that to the fore and help the men, help our societies, and help the world. I can go on and on, but I think essentially that's what we want, to be seen as true partners in progress, true partners in life, and to be able to just give all that God has given to each and every one of us. I think will be a short synopsis.
Thank you so much. Now, Gilbert asked this question and he has practically answered it. Is there true equality in life? And then he says equality is achieved or attained, not given.
Is there true equality in life? Is there true equality in life? I'm trying to be politically correct here, but the short answer will be yes. Right to life, right to vote. So if we look at it from all of those social issues, I'll say yes. However, I am a Christian, born again child of God, who believes the word of God from Genesis to Revelation, and I know what the Bible says. So when we talk about equality and looking at it from that Christian sense or the religious sense, the fact that the man is the head of the home does not mean the woman is a lesser being. It is just the fact that the man has been given the responsibility to lead and to carry us along. So true equality in the things that are social, I'll say yes. But obviously, according to the word of God, men should lead the way and we women will follow. So even in that equality, it's not to say the man should lord it over the woman, because even if you go to the scriptures, it says women to submit. Yes, men are quick to pull that out. But how about the bit about love? Because when you love each other and you love the woman, submission won't be a big deal at all. She won't even think twice about it. Both of you will lovingly submit to each other and you will both love each other. So is there true equality in life? I think, quite honestly, like I said, when it comes to the social issues and governance and all of that, yes, that's the answer. But then, when it comes to the Bible, because the word of God says so, the woman will take her place. And as a wise woman, build her own home. Equality, not because you want to eat the same amount of meat the man eats, but equality because you have an equal say in decision making for the things that will affect your family, for instance. Okay, so that's what I would say. Yeah, and not go too deep before we shake some tables today.
So we need to
Yeah.
speak to this very quickly. And that was
Yes.
going to be my next question before Gilbert pull it up. That
Okay.
we've been at this for 111 years, 111.
Mm.
Are we using the right strategy?
Mm.
Is there something we need to change? Should we change our method?
Mm.
What's wrong with our strategy at this point?
Mm. Excellent question, Uncle Gilbert. And I'll say, yes, there might be a need to relook strategy. However, the reason why we're getting to this point now is because the struggle, even though it started then, started in a corner of the world, if you like, and it's only just been gaining momentum over the years. In Nigeria, for instance, before now, the National Assembly passed that bill. We will sit down and be looking and say, well, it is the men, they've done what they need to do. But when it happened on the first, by the second, women groups all over Nigeria assembled at the National Assembly and said,
Yeah.
break the bias, change this. This is the constitution we want. They came out en masse. Wimbies was there. The Women Coalition were there, and they had their say. So more and more people, because more and more people are now being informed. And that's part of what the International Women's Day will do. Other than celebrating the achievements of women in all of the areas, social, cultural, political, one thing it does also, International Women's Day, is raise their awareness, create the awareness, let women know, let even the men know. That's why we're having these conversations, to say, men, don't fade. We're here because we want to work with you, okay? So now there's more information, Daddy Gilbert. Before now, it was in just a corner of the world, but now it's become global. So yes, it has taken time. Yes, but we're getting there. Now women are getting up and saying, Soros, okay, speak up and speak up. We're not going to keep quiet anymore. That thing used to happen before. So yes, there's that. But again, to the point about changing the methods, I have to agree with you. I was in a conversation with a friend, my friend Dr. and we're chatting about this National Assembly and our demands and all of that. And she said something that for me was instructive. She said, power, okay, cannot be given, it must be taken. And I thought, wow, that was profound. Okay, so what will we women do differently to ensure that we then take this power? It's not enough to go home and say, you know what, you must give us this seat, you must do this, you must do that. What should we do? We need to change the strategy. We must speak up and speak out. So it's okay, like I said, that's one. We must have this inclusive and intelligent conversations with the men. Not saying, give us, give us, give us, our name is Jimmy. No, but explaining and showing them why it's important that they carry us along and the value we add, which we've already discussed. But we must also talk to the point of legislation. Why? We are far behind. We are far behind, and in some climes, if there is no law, it won't get done. And you and I know, let's be honest, in Nigeria, if there is no law, it won't get done. So that's why legislation is a big part of it. Hence the furor and, our angst at the fact that the National Assembly threw out that bill without even saying, let's have this conversation again.
Exactly.
So legislation is one thing. That's one strategy. So if we get that, it won't be the silver bullet. It will not take us, there won't be a Uhuru overnight. Immediately, women won't flood the boardrooms and all of that. It will still take time, but at least there'll be that legislation backing it and giving it the impetus and the power. We must also encourage women who are doing good and cheer them on, because when you do that, they'll then be encouraged to do much more. Women, like I said earlier, must send the elevator back down and bring up women who can do it, who have the capacity and the competence so that we can move forward. We must take action for equality. Hence this clarion call of 2022, break the bias, okay? And women must also be fearless. We used to cower in our little corners and be seen and not heard. We will take everything that was thrown at us, but not anymore. Now we're fearless. We're standing up and saying, we will speak our minds. We will tell the truth. What's the worst that could happen? If they say no to us, no problem. We'll take another route and we keep it moving. We move again, eh? That's the slogan. Move. Hashtag
we move.
Absolutely. There must also be that intentional inclusion. I mentioned earlier on the he for she's, and I know that the Gilbert who's asking is definitely a he for she. So we will call on you, the he for she's, that the Gilbert and people of your ilk, to say, you know what? Women have substance. Let's give them a chance. Let's be the heroes for them. Let's root for them. Give them an opportunity. And then also in all areas, in boardrooms, in government, in the political system, we must review policies and processes to check where the biases are. And where they are, we must negate them. We must take them out totally and give the women a chance. Intentional inclusion, yes, critical. Carry the men along. Carry the women who can do it along and give us a chance. Shebi, if we do them and we fail, then you can say, after all, we failed. go and sit down. But you haven't even given us a chance. Try us and see, and the story will be different. I hope that answered Daddy Gilbert's question.
Absolutely. You said it so well. Try us and see. So, I mean, we said so much and it's been so instructive. Thank you so, so much, BMG. You really educated us today on this thing and on the entire story as a whole. Let me take your final words.
Thank you so much. It's truly been awesome. I did. Time flies when you're having fun. I didn't realize we'd spoken for this long. My final words will be an appeal, okay, to everyone to say, indeed, we must break the bias. Some of these biases are unconscious. We don't even know they're there, okay? That's why a landlord in Lagos will not rent a flat to a single woman because she's single. That's why some people who are in a wheelchair will not get an opportunity at an interview because they're seemingly disabled. So some of these biases are there. We all have biases, okay? It's against race, it's against language. You know, there are different kinds of biases. Some unconscious, subliminal, there are all kinds of biases. So my appeal will be for each and every one of us to stop and to check and to say, am I being biased? Am I being prejudiced in any way? Am I seeing these things through this lens when there could be a rose-colored lens that I should view it through? We should check our thoughts, check our actions, check our policies and our processes where they exist or where we're owners of them, and ensure that there is no bias, that what applies to one applies to all, and what applies to all applies to one. That we take out the biases where they are, that we have these conversations, and that we carry the men along. So I appeal to the men to say, men, let's break this bias. It better for you. It go better for me. It will better for our children and the world. We're not saying we're trying to break this bias because of the benefits. You know, let's have the foresight and be proactive to say it will be a hugely better world all around. Benefits of where the bias isn't there are huge. There's better life expectancy, there's greater security, economies do better when women are at the table and are given, societies are safer. You know, if you do the research, it will amaze you what you'll find when there's equality, where there's gender parity, where the gender agenda is firmly on the table and being given the place. The world is a far better place. So even if we're even being mercenary, even if we're even being selfish, it's about me. I don't know about you, ROO, but I want a better world. I want to earn more. I want my children, my daughters to be able to be the leaders of tomorrow. That will only happen if we're in an inclusive society where the biases have been broken and women are given the chance to demonstrate what they have.
Very, very true. Thank you so much again, BMG. Questions are still coming on, but I'm not going to take it because of time. Emeka is trying to break the tables here. But, you know, the truth of the matter is this. There's so much going on in the international women's space. And the truth is, all of us must join hands together to break the bias. Yes, we will educate ourselves. We'll take it to the grassroots and we'll carry everybody along. And I know that as we do, we'll be one formidable force that men will be very proud of. So thank you so much, BMG, for coming. I truly appreciate it. And like I will always say, I will come again. So until next time, thank you so much, BMG. I appreciate you. Have a wonderful day. God bless you.
God bless everyone.
Wow, wow, wow. What a day it's been. That was BMG in the house and just simply awesome. I mean, she brought it all to the table and I couldn't just stop it. Wow. So I'm using my phone, so I'm having to struggle with this. Okay. So that's been it for this week. Thank you everybody that's been on the call. It's still the International Women's Day and month. Tomorrow is actually the 8th of March. Tomorrow is when we're going to be having the day. So wherever you are, please tomorrow celebrate a woman. Buy a flower, buy lunch, make us feel special all through the month of March. And I know that the more we make women happy, the better the world will be. Emeka says, I'm not trying to break any table. Don't worry, I know you. Don't worry. Even if you break the table, we'll put the tables back. So until next week, Monday, when I come your way again with another edition of Knocks to Nuggets, never forget it. If you can think it, you can be it, and you can have it. And together we win. God bless you. Bye for now.